First Contact and Ultimatum. The massive Nexari warship emerged from hyperspace with the grace of a predator, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight across Earth's atmosphere in prismatic waves. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the United Earth Defense Headquarters, her weathered face illuminated by holographic displays showing the vessel, nearly the size of Manhattan, positioning itself in high orbit. Multiple signatures detected, Admiral. Lieutenant Park reported, his fingers dancing across the neural interface. They're deploying smaller craft. Appears to be a show of force. The message that followed shocked no one. It boomed across every communication channel, transmitted in perfect English. People of Earth, hear the words of High Commander Vexthor of the Nexari Empire. Your civilization has been deemed worthy of ascension. Submit to integration within our collective, and you shall be elevated. Resist and face extinction. You have 48 Earth hours to respond. In the tense silence that followed, Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Nexari, for all their advanced technology, had made the same mistake as countless others throughout human history. They'd mistaken preparation for weakness. Deep beneath the Mariana Trench, in a facility known only to a handful of people, Dr. James Rodriguez was already initiating emergency protocols. Project Phoenix, humanity's insurance policy against this exact scenario, was about to emerge from decades of development. Begin final activation sequence, he commanded, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. The massive chamber before him hummed to life, illuminating rows of stasis pods. Inside each, a volunteer soldier whose body and mind had been enhanced beyond conventional human limits stirred to consciousness. They called themselves the Phoenix Division, 300 individuals who had undergone radical bioaugmentation and neural enhancement. Not super soldiers from a comic book, but the next evolutionary step in human capability, achieved through sacrifice and science. Captain Maya Patil opened her eyes in Pod 117, her enhanced neural pathways already processing the situation through the facility's network. Her body, now a seamless fusion of advanced biotechnology and human resilience, felt alive with potential. The augmentations had changed them all. Improved reaction times, enhanced strength, and neural interfaces that allowed direct communication with advanced weapon systems. But they remained fundamentally human, carrying the hopes and fears of their species. Above, the Nexari continued their display of dominance, deploying squadrons of fighters in precise formations. Their crystalline ships sparkled like deadly jewels against Earth's atmosphere, a testament to their technological superiority. Or so they believed. In Washington, Beijing, Moscow, and other capitals, world leaders maintained public calm while executing long-prepared protocols. The Nexari's arrival hadn't caught humanity completely unprepared. The discovery of alien ruins on Mars a decade ago had sparked a unified effort to prepare for eventual contact. Dr. Rodriguez walked the line of awakening soldiers, his own neural implants connecting him to the facility's systems. For years, we've prepared for this moment, he addressed them. Not just the Phoenix Division, but humanity as a whole. While they watched us from afar, believing us primitive, we studied the artifacts they left behind. We learned. We adapted. We evolved. Maya stood with her squad, their enhanced bodies humming with carefully controlled power. The modifications went far beyond simple physical improvements. Their nervous systems could now process information at unprecedented speeds, and their bones were reinforced with carbon lattices that made them nearly unbreakable. But their greatest weapon remained their humanity, their creativity, determination, and the unshakable will to remain free. In orbit, the Nexari High Commander observed Earth's major cities through advanced scanning systems. Vexthor's crystalline exoskeleton shifted colors with his thoughts, a sign of his confidence. His species had conquered dozens of civilizations, all following the same pattern: a show of force, followed by either submission or a brief feudal resistance. The human silence was typical, likely indicating their leadership was paralyzed with fear. How wrong he was. As the deadline approached, Admiral Chen coordinated with military commands worldwide. The plan they had developed was audacious, perhaps even crazy, but it played to humanity's greatest strengths: adaptability and unpredictability. Dr. Rodriguez completed final system checks on the Phoenix Division's gear: plasma rifles reverse-engineered from alien technology, adaptive armor that could respond to different forms of attack, and neural combat systems that could predict enemy movements seconds before they happened. They expect us to either surrender or launch a desperate nuclear attack. Maya addressed her squad, her enhanced voice carrying easily through the chamber. They've seen it dozens of times from other species. But humanity. She allowed herself a grim smile. We're about to introduce them to a third option. As the 48-hour deadline neared its end, the Nexeri ships maintained their threatening positions, their crystalline hulls now glowing with charged weapons. They anticipated either a formal surrender or a suicidal first strike. Instead, they received a short message from Earth, transmitted on all frequencies: to the Nexeri Empire. Humanity respectfully declines both options. We choose to remain free, and we choose to fight back. Your 48 hours are up. Now it's our turn. The war for Earth's freedom was about to begin, and humanity had some surprises in store for their would-be conquerors. Operation Defiance. The Nexeri's response to humanity's defiance was swift and brutal. Their crystalline warships descended through Earth's atmosphere, targeting military installations across the globe. But this time, something was different. Their usually precise weapons found their targets obscured by advanced holographic technology, while stealth systems, reversed engineered from the Mars ruins, kept Earth's true defensive capabilities hidden. Captain Maya Patel and her Phoenix squad watched from their stealth transport as the first Nexeri ground forces deployed outside Singapore. The aliens moved with mechanical precision, their crystalline armor refracting the morning sun into dazzling patterns. Each warrior stood 3 meters tall, their bodies seemingly carved from living crystal. All squads, execute Operation Defiance. Admiral Chen's voice echoed through their neural links. Show them what humanity can do. Maya's enhanced vision zoomed in on the Nexeri formation. Remember your training, she subvocalized to her squad through their neural network. They rely on crystalline technology for everything: weapons, armor, even their bodies. And crystals can shatter. The Phoenix Division struck without warning. Maya's squad descended from their stealth transport, their adaptive armor shifting to match the urban environment. The Nexeri's first indication of trouble came when their forward scouts suddenly collapsed, their crystalline forms spiderwebbed with cracks from precision sonic attacks. High Commander Vex Thor observed the battle through his ship's sensors, his crystalline form shifting to a deep purple of confusion. Impossible, he broadcast to his officers. Their weapons, they're based on our own technology. The streets of Singapore became a battleground of innovation versus arrogance. The Nexeri's crystal-based weapons fired with devastating power, but the Phoenix soldiers moved like ghosts through their barrage. Their enhanced reflexes and neural combat systems predicted attack patterns seconds before they happened. Dr. Rodriguez coordinated the battle from the Mariana facility, his neural interface processing combat data in real time. Their crystalline technology has a fundamental weakness, he broadcast to all Phoenix units. It requires a specific resonance frequency to maintain stability. Find it, disrupt it, and their superior technology becomes their greatest vulnerability. Maya's squad pushed forward, using sonic disruptors and plasma rifles in deadly combination. The Nexeri warriors, for all their imposing presence, had never faced an enemy who could match their technological advantage. Their formations, perfect for overwhelming primitive resistance, became deadly traps as Phoenix soldiers outflanked them through buildings and sewers. This is impossible. The Nexeri ground commander's transmission crackled with distortion. They are mere humans. How can they? His message cut off as Maya's sonic disruptor found its mark, shattering his crystalline command center into glittering shards. Admiral Chen watched the battle unfold through global tactical displays. Similar scenes played out across Earth. Moscow, Cairo, Rio de Janeiro. Everywhere the Nexeri landed, they found not helpless primitives, but an enemy that had studied them, prepared for them, and now turned their own technological principles against them. But the Nexeri weren't defeated easily. Their crystalline ships in orbit began systematic bombardment, trying to overwhelm Earth's defenses through sheer firepower. They didn't realize they were playing directly into humanity's hands. "Now, Admiral," Dr. Rodriguez asked through the secure channel. "Now," Chen confirmed. "Show them our full capabilities." Across the globe, massive electromagnetic pulse generators, hidden in plain sight as civilian structures, activated in perfect synchronization. The pulses, specifically tuned to the Nexeri's crystalline technology's resonance frequency, reached into orbit. The effect was spectacular. Dozens of Nexeri ships suddenly stopped firing, their crystalline hulls becoming clouded and unstable. Maya watched through her enhanced vision as the Nexeri ground forces around her began to panic, something their kind rarely experienced. Their weapons malfunctioned, their armor became brittle, and their perfectly coordinated formations fell into disarray. "This is Phoenix Actual to all units," she broadcast. "Press the advantage. Show them what happens when they underestimate humanity." The battle for Singapore turned into a rout. Phoenix soldiers moved with practiced precision, their weapons and tactics specifically designed to exploit the weaknesses they'd spent years studying. The Nexeri, faced with an enemy that could neutralize their technological advantage, began to retreat. High Commander Vexthor, watching his invasion force crumble, felt something new: respect, tinged with fear. These humans hadn't just prepared for war, they'd prepared specifically for war against his kind. Every counter, every tactic, seemed purposefully designed to exploit weaknesses the Nexeri thought none could know. But even as humanity celebrated its first major victory, Maya and her fellow soldiers knew this was just the beginning. The Nexeri Empire spanned galaxies. This was only their first wave, a test of Earth's defenses. The real war was about to begin. As the sun set over Singapore's scared but standing skyline, Maya accessed her neural link to Admiral Chen. "First phase, successful, Admiral. But they'll be back, won't they?" "Oh, they'll be back," Chen replied, her voice grim but confident. "But next time, we'll take the fight to them. That's why we call it Operation Defiance. We're not just defending Earth anymore. We're showing the galaxy that humanity won't kneel to anyone." The stars above sparkled with new meaning now. Somewhere up there, the Nexeri were regrouping, reassessing, and likely preparing a more massive invasion force. But Earth would be ready. The Phoenix Division had proven humanity could fight back. Now it was time to prove they could win. The turning point. The Nexeri Empire's response came 3 days after their initial defeat, not with ships or soldiers, but with a message that echoed through every communication device on Earth. "You have impressed us, humans. Now witness our true power." A massive hyperspace rupture tore open above Earth's northern hemisphere, disgorging hundreds of capital ships. But these weren't the crystalline vessels humanity had faced before. These were darker, more organic-looking craft that pulsed with an inner light. "They've adapted," Dr. Rodriguez observed from the Mariana facility, his neural interface struggling to analyze the new threat. "These ships aren't purely crystalline technology." Admiral Chen studied the tactical displays, her expression grim. "They're learning, just like we did." She opened a secure channel to all Phoenix Division units. "This is what we prepared for. Execute Operation Starfall." Maya Patel and her squad boarded their orbital insertion vehicles, sleek craft designed for one purpose: boarding enemy vessels. Their enhanced bodies could now withstand the extreme forces of combat maneuvers that would kill unaugmented humans. "They think they know what we're capable of," Maya addressed her squad as they ascended through the atmosphere. "Let's show them how wrong they are." The space battle erupted with unprecedented ferocity. The Nexary's new hybrid ships launched swarms of fighters, their weapons a combination of crystalline energy and something new, dark matter technology. Earth's orbital defense platforms engage, revealing their own surprises. Massive railguns, hidden in asteroid bases, opened fire. Each projectile carried a payload of nanites specifically designed to corrupt Nexary tech. The Phoenix Division's ships, smaller but infinitely more maneuverable, darted between the capital ships like angry wasps. High Commander Vexthor, watching from his flagship, the Twilight Shard, finally understood humanity's true strength. It wasn't their technology or their enhanced soldiers. It was their ability to adapt, to take an enemy's strength, and turn it against them. Maya's squad successfully breached the hull of a Nexary destroyer. Inside, they found corridors that seemed to shift and change, living metal responding to the crew's thoughts. But the Phoenix soldiers had trained for this, their neural interfaces allowing them to predict and counter the ship's defenses. They're not just using crystal tech anymore, Maya reported as her team fought through the alien vessel. They've integrated biological components. The ships are almost alive. Dr. Rodriguez's voice crackled through their neural link. That's why they waited 3 days. They were integrating captured Earth biotechnology from the first battle. They're evolving, just like us. The revelation changed everything. This wasn't just a war of survival anymore. It was a race of adaptation. Each side learning, evolving, incorporating the other's advances. Admiral Chen made a bold decision. All Phoenix units, new objective. We're not just defending anymore. Captain Patel, take your squad to their command ship. We need to understand what we're really fighting. The battle above Earth became a massive game of cat and mouse. Phoenix ships darted between Nexary vessels, drawing fire, creating chaos. Meanwhile, Maya's team moved silently through the void, their adaptive armor rendering them nearly invisible against the backdrop of space. Boarding the Twilight Shard proved surprisingly easy. Too easy. Inside, they found corridors empty of defenders, the living metal walls pulsing with an almost anxious energy. This feels like a trap. Maya's second in command, Lieutenant Kira Wong, subvocalized through their neural link. Of course it's a trap, Maya replied. But sometimes you have to spring the trap to understand your enemy. They reached the ship's central chamber to find High Commander Vexthor waiting. But he wasn't preparing for battle. The massive crystalline being stood before a holographic display of Earth, his form shifting through colors Maya's enhanced vision interpreted as fascination. Finally, Vexthor's voice resonated through their minds. You prove yourselves worthy of the truth. The chamber's walls became transparent, revealing the space battle raging around them. But from here, Maya could see something her sensors hadn't detected before. The Nexary ships weren't just fighting. They were moving in a precise pattern, creating a massive geometric formation around Earth. This was never about conquest, Vexthor explained. This was a test, one your species has finally passed. Dr. Rodriguez's voice cut through their neural link. The energy readings, they're not charging weapons. They're creating a shield. A shield against what? Maya demanded. The answer came as another hyperspace rupture appeared, larger than anything they'd seen before. Through it emerged something that defied description, a mass of writhing darkness that consumed light itself. The Void Hunters, Vexthor said grimly. The real enemy we've been preparing for. For millennia, we've tested species, seeking allies strong enough to help us fight them. You humans, you're the first to ever defeat our test fleet. Maya watched the massive dark entity approach, understanding dawning. This wasn't an invasion. It was recruitment. Indeed, Vexthor's crystalline form pulsed with urgent colors. Now shall we show these abominations what our species can accomplish together? The void entity descended toward Earth, its presence dampening light and hope itself. But for the first time in history, two technologically advanced species stood ready to fight as one. The true battle for survival was about to begin. Enemy within. The massive void entity loomed over Earth like a tear in reality itself, its presence causing instruments to malfunction and minds to fill with inexplicable dread. But in crisis, humanity showed its greatest strength: adaptability. Admiral Chen stood in the newly established Joint Command Center aboard the Twilight Shard, watching as human and Nexari technicians worked side by side, merging their technologies with unprecedented speed. "How long until the shield matrix is complete?" she asked. High Commander Vexthor's crystalline form shifted to deep azure. "Concern. Hours. The Void Hunters have never given their prey this much time before. They're studying us," Maya observed from her position near the tactical display. Her enhanced senses detected subtle patterns in the Void entity's movements. "Learning, just like we did with your technology." But not everyone embraced this sudden alliance. On Earth, protests erupted outside government buildings worldwide. "Collaborators," they shouted, demanding resistance against both alien species. The fear was understandable. One moment the Nexari were invaders. The next, they were allies against an even greater threat. Dr. Rodriguez's voice cut through the tension via quantum link. "We have a bigger problem. The Void entity isn't just affecting our technology, it's affecting minds. We're detecting increasing instances of paranoia and aggression worldwide." Maya felt it too, even through her enhanced neural shielding. A subtle whisper encouraging distrust, division, fear. "It's not just attacking our bodies," she realized. "It's attacking our unity." The first signs of fracture appeared in Geneva, where a group of military officers attempted to seize control of Earth's defensive grid. "We can't trust the aliens," their leader broadcast. "This is another trick." Similar incidents erupted globally. Human security forces turned on their Nexari counterparts. Nexari ships reported suspicious movements from Earth's defense platforms. The Void entity remained stationary, watching, waiting. "Now we understand." Vexthor's colors shifted to a deep crimson. "This is why no species has ever survived their attack. They turn us against each other first." Maya's squad deployed to critical installations worldwide, their enhanced abilities allowing them to subdue rogue elements without casualties. But for every situation they contained, two more emerge. Admiral Chen made a decisive call. "We need to understand what we're fighting. Captain Patel, take your team into that thing. Find out what it is, what it wants." "With respect, Admiral," Maya replied. "That's suicide." "Not alone," came a new voice. A Nexari warrior stepped forward, its crystalline form shifting to match Maya's armor pattern. "I am Varish, leader of the Nexari Elite Guard. My team will accompany you." The joint mission launched within the hour, human-enhanced soldiers and Nexari warriors together in specially modified vessels. As they approached the Void entity, their worst fears were confirmed. The darkness wasn't just absence of light, it was absence of reality itself. "All teams, maintain neural link," Maya commanded. "Whatever happens, we stay connected. We stay united." They'd breached the outer layer of the Void entity, and reality itself seemed to twist. Each soldier experienced their worst fears, their deepest doubts. Maya saw her team turning against her, saw Earth burning, saw the Nexari betrayal she still partly feared. But through their neural link came something unexpected. She also felt the Nexari warriors' experiences. Their fears mirrored her own. Their doubts, their hopes, their determination to survive. All of it fundamentally similar to humanity's own struggles. Varesh's crystalline voice resonated through their shared consciousness. "Do you understand now? This is why we tested other species so harshly. We needed allies who could face this, who could maintain unity in the face of absolute division." Deep within the Void entity, they found its core. Not a physical thing, but a concept given form. The antithesis of cooperation, of unity, of hope itself. It fed on division, grew stronger with every doubt, every fear, every moment of distrust. "It's not just an enemy," Maya broadcast a command. It's the embodiment of division itself, and there's only one way to fight it. Admiral Chen's voice came through clearly despite the interference. Whatever you're planning, Captain, do it fast. We're losing control down here. The world's about to tear itself apart. Maya looked at her team, human and Nexari, different species united by a common threat. We don't fight the darkness, she declared. We show it the light. The Phoenix soldiers and Nexari warriors joined minds completely, their neural links and crystalline consciousness merging into something entirely new. Their combined consciousness burned like a star in the heart of darkness, a unified defiance against chaos itself. Above Earth, the void entity recoiled for the first time in its ancient existence. It had never encountered this before. Perfect unity between species it sought to divide. The shield matrix wasn't just a physical barrier anymore. It was a manifestation of two species' combined will to survive, to thrive, to stand together against the darkness. But even as the void entity showed its first signs of weakness, Maya knew this wasn't the end. The real test wasn't just surviving the external threat. It was maintaining unity in the face of victory itself. Liberation Dawn. The void entity's retreat sent shockwaves through both human and Nexari consciousness. The massive darkness contracted, pulling away from Earth's atmosphere, but Maya and her joint human-Nexari team remained embedded within its core, their unified minds burning like a beacon. Something's changing, Maya broadcast through the neural network. Her enhanced senses, now merged with Varesh's crystalline perception, detected subtle shifts in the entity's structure. It's not just retreating. It's transforming. Admiral Chen and High Commander Vexthor watched from the Twilight Shard as the darkness began to fracture, threads of light piercing through its mass. The combined human-Nexari shield matrix pulsed with energy, no longer just containing the entity, but actively reshaping it. The Void Hunters, Vexthor's crystalline form shimmered with revelation. They were never truly our enemies. They were our fear given form. Dr. Rodriguez's voice cut through the command channel. The entity's composition is shifting. It's responding to our unified consciousness. All these centuries, it wasn't trying to destroy us. It was trying to force us to evolve, Admiral Chen finished, to find a way past our divisions. Inside the entity's core, Maya and Varesh led their combined team deeper. The darkness no longer felt hostile. Instead, it seemed to part before their advance, revealing something at its heart that defied explanation. All teams, are you seeing this? Maya broadcast. Before them floated what appeared to be a seed of pure light, suspended in the void. Around it, patterns of energy danced in formations that matched both human DNA and Nexari crystal structures. It's a genesis point, Varesh communicated through their linked consciousness, a catalyst for change. The revelation spread through both fleets. The Void Hunters hadn't been seeking to destroy advanced civilizations. They had been testing them, pushing them to overcome their inherent tendencies toward division and conflict. Only through true unity could species access the power within the genesis point. Admiral Chen made a decision that would alter the course of both civilizations. Captain Patel, Varesh, initiate contact with the genesis point. Let's see what evolution really means. The moment Maya's enhanced hand touched the light, while Varesh's crystalline form resonated with it, everything changed. The genesis point expanded, enveloping both teams in pure energy. Through their neural link, every human and Nexari connected to the network experienced the transformation. Knowledge flooded their unified consciousness, the true history of the galaxy, the purpose of the tests, the potential that lay dormant in all species. The Void Hunters had been guardians, not destroyers, waiting for species capable of transcending their limitations through cooperation rather than conflict. Earth's atmosphere shimmered as the transformation spread. Human technology began seamlessly integrating with Nexari crystalline structures. The Phoenix soldiers found their enhanced bodies naturally interfacing with crystalline elements, while Nexeri warriors developed unprecedented understanding of human biological systems. This is what the Void Hunters were preparing us for, Dr. Rodriguez reported, his own consciousness now linked to the expanding network. Not just survival, but transcendence through unity. The darkness that had seemed so threatening now dissolved completely, revealing a galaxy full of possibilities. Other species who had faced the same test watched from afar, waiting to see if humanity and the Nexeri had truly found the path forward. Maya and Varesh emerged from the transformation as something new, representatives of what both species could become, not through conquest or submission, but through willing cooperation and mutual growth. Admiral Chen addressed the combined fleets, her words carrying across all channels. Today marks not just our liberation from fear, but our evolution beyond it. The void wasn't our enemy, it was our mirror, showing us what we needed to overcome. High Commander Vexthor's crystalline form now pulsed with colors that matched human emotional patterns. Our empire was built on testing other species, preparing them for this moment. Now we stand as equals, ready to face whatever the galaxy holds together. The Genesis Point's energy continued to spread, offering its gift of transformation to all who were ready to accept it. But it couldn't be forced. Each individual, human and Nexeri alike, had to willingly choose unity over division, cooperation over conflict. Maya looked out at Earth from her position in space, seeing her home planet in a new light. The old boundaries, national borders, species divisions, even the limitations of flesh and crystal, seemed meaningless now. A new dawn had truly arrived. So, she transmitted to both fleets, "Who's ready to explore what we can really become?" The response came not in words but in action. Across Earth, humans and Nexeri began working together to build something entirely new. A civilization that transcended both of their original forms while preserving what made each unique. The void had tested them. Humanity had refused to kneel, and in doing so, both species had found something greater than victory. They had found evolution through unity, strength through cooperation, and hope through understanding. As the first ships of the combined human-Nexeri exploration fleet prepared to venture into deep space, they carried with them a simple message for other species they might encounter. The greatest power comes not from domination, but from the willingness to grow together. The war that had begun with an ultimatum ended not with surrender or destruction, but with transformation. Humanity had not only refused to kneel, they had helped an entire species stand taller.